Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our Friday morning trading session. Sorry about yesterday. I had just opened up the room, and some of you early birds would have gotten the welcome message from the room, and then the power failed here. So sorry about that. So I went back to bed. Power came on about 2 hours later. Looks like yesterday was a fairly decent day, actually, for the most part. There was some decent trading involved. Right now, though, it looks like the NQ in a little bit of a tailspin, certainly through the overnight. The London session opens. We print a kind of a rule of three-ish type signal. Would not have been that easy to take. Well, actually, had you factored in the test of the extreme here, you may have tried to sell the signal here. Otherwise, you did get a second chance here on the hard edge bounce and what is probably our official trend change signal right there. Nice little decline in the overnight, and now the market's kind of floundering a little bit as we've got this massive opening gap above the market. No doubt they will try at least a little bit to get into there. In fact, we can see here on the Raptor, we're about to print a signal. We do have a test of the extreme. I'll warn you, this is worth a shot, but you should be leery. All right, there we go. All right, we'll take that signal. We'll just see how far above the hard edge here they're going to drift. And I'll get a stop in play. Now I'm risking the trade right here below the lows because, well, this is a gap play, what I'm doing here. When the market opens with a huge gap, it will usually try to get into that gap at least a little bit. The soft edge sell actually occurred right down here, or pardon me, the soft edge buy occurred right down here. So this is a rather late attempt on my part. Okay, we've got a little bit of support here as the cloud is crossing over somewhat. And right now the real big obstacle is here at 45.98. We do need to see a tick above there, or this might quickly develop into a double pullback. All right, so we hit the first target, and now we have the remainder of our trade at break even, and it doesn't look like they're going to allow us to ride that out. The Geiger counter pulling hard here to the sell side. Oh, just maybe. The buyers were coming back here just a little bit. They're holding and holding and holding. We might get lucky here and actually ride this one out. No. Well, that's okay. I'm all right taking that short little scalp in there. Like I said, the better signal, the proper soft edge sell was right here, just a minute after the open. So it looks like, for the moment anyhow, our trading range is looking something like this. And I think the trend is definitely down today. I'm not sure we want to get too crazy on the buy side, even though, like I said, I fully expect the market to try to get into that gap a little bit. Oh, we had a couple late filter entries here on the Falcon, producing approximately the same time as our Raptor signal. So you can see here the filter goes out of sync, comes back into sync, trend line never changes color. That's a very high probability signal, even though technically it is counter trend. So right now it's looking like it was not a bad plan to take profit when we had it there on the Raptor. Although if they come out of this hard edge, we will have a double pullback and another buy signal, so that's something to keep a lookout for. You see, when you have a very pronounced trend like this, I try to remind you to take things in context. The market very, very much in a downtrend. This may well just end up being like a bear flag. But they're thrashing about a bit. Well, here they come. This could be our double pullback signal. And there it is. All right. I'll give it a try. Still very, very risky. We're still very much in the sideways pattern. I'm still looking for it to try to recover above the above this high, get into that gap a little bit. You can see we're still struggling. This whole 4,600 area, very problematic. Oh, I'm very close here. I was thinking the buyers would step up before that, but it's not looking very good right now. No. So this short-lived double pullback is starting to look very much like a bear flag. Looks like we may get a turnover here. Let's see if we get some support off of the hard edge. No, they're just, oh, spoke too soon. A little bit more volatility in today's trading. Good morning, Jim. Jim says advanced decline numbers, only 300 on the buy, 2,400 on the sell, but that's to be expected given the monstrous opening gap that we saw this morning. The eagle here highlighting the trading range very well. So this is the area that we have to contend with right now. Here come the buyers yet again. Absolutely, Jim needs to see the YM here. So are you looking at the December contract, Jim? Because that's the one that I have in play right now. So right now, the support and resistance sweep pinching the YM pretty tight. Okay, Jim wants March, so I'll get March for you here. 1 second. Oops, let's load that first. All right, so here they come with another sell signal. Hey, chihuahua, what a mess. Now this is in sync sell signal. Oh my gosh, Eric, stumbling over your lips. I would take it below this other little swing low here, and that's the only reason I'm doing that is if you kind of shoot a trend line, something like this, just reinforces a trend line break. The market's still very sideways, however. Okay, so here is the support and resistance suite for March Dow, and we've got 17,298 on the band containing the top end, 17,228 on the bottom. Oh, it looks like the 8s are a popular number today. 17,368 on the band above that. 174.15, and then the primary at 174.62. That's to the upside. To the downside, below 17,228, we have 171.34. And just in case you need one more below that, 170.40. So the YM you can see is pretty sandwiched at the moment also. Okay, I'm going to cancel this order because the market's still flip-flopping a little bit. Brian's asking here a question about the Raptor. Do you keep the Raptor filter on 10 for crude oil? Or I've heard a lot of people like 8. Okay, I didn't realize your question was in regards to crude oil. 1 second, please, and I'll get a crude oil Raptor here for you. Okay, I'm thinking we're going to get a sell signal here, folks. So if you're watching the NASDAQ, you may want to be on the alert for a sell signal. Okay, in the meantime, Brian is asking on crude oil, do you like a Raptor filter of 10 or some people like 8? Now, the nice thing about the Raptor is that you can customize it a little bit. The whole point of having the band is twofold. One, to give you a directional bias, and the other to show you selling opportunities. Well, in this case, selling opportunities. If the market was rallying, you would be looking for buying opportunities. I've got to go back a few days. What you need to do is you're looking for the band to more or less reflect where the market is peaking. So, like I said, with the Raptor, you do have this option. The other tools, the filters, are locked. So on my Raptor, I happen to have an 8, and then I printed another one at 10. Now, these are the settings I think that Ricardo settled on, and they seem to be working pretty well. Jim, I think, runs a faster Raptor. I think 6 and 11, but he'll correct me. And yes, Brian, I've got 2 clouds, and they're quite easy to employ. Simply, all you do is you go here to your assortment, and you're going to find the tool that says Raptor Cloud, wherever it is. There it is, Raptor Cloud. You'll double click on it, and then you're going to have two Raptor Clouds in your assortment. Now, both of yours are probably going to be set at 12 by default. So click on one of your clouds, and you can change the setting to 8 or whatever you like. Click on the other cloud, and you can change your setting, but you're also going to have to change the color. Otherwise, you won't be able to tell which cloud is which. So let's say I made this one, well, just for kicks, let's make it a 12. And you go here, you're going to change your band color. And then you also need to change your hard edge color. Any color will do, whatever you like. And then when you apply that, voila! Actually, that 12 seems to be holding it pretty well. I may leave that on there. Yeah, it seems to be holding the, see how it's containing the peak on the 12? That's kind of what you want to look for. Now, the double band was one of the ideas presented to us by a Raptor owner at the Raptor Trading Forum, which is a Facebook forum. If you don't have the link to that yet, you can email Adam. It's where Raptor owners exchange ideas. DTS owners, there's a similar Facebook forum for you. There's some really great information there, some really good conversations. And what Ricardo was looking at was he thought he would incorporate a double band because sometimes the market would come up a little bit shallow and bounce, and sometimes it would go deeper and bounce. So essentially, his strategy really just involves letting the market come into the hard edge, reacting to the hard edge, and then buying or selling accordingly. And he's doing pretty well with that. So there's a very simplified Raptor signal for you. Tony's asking, when you buy the Raptor, does the Trailblazer come with it? You can bundle the Trailblazer with it, or you can bundle the Trade Manager with it, if you choose. I simply have the Trailblazer here on the Raptor just to highlight it. I could mix it up. I could put the Trailblazer on the Hawk or the Falcon or the Eagle if I chose, and likewise I could put the Trade Manager here with the Raptor also. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that cloud set at 12. Yeah, this one's still 8 and 10. Now, it's not, it's not the end of the world if you have your cloud set at 10 or 12 or 11 or 6 or whatever. We're still focusing a lot on the price activity itself, right? The band is, like, regardless of what your band settings would be here, I'm hoping that you can see that this market is sideways, right? So whether you get a double pullback signal or a trend change signal or whatever, the market is sideways. You should be suspect of any signals that you're printing. So merely having your band set at 8 or 10 or 12 or 2,000 isn't going to save you from taking a bad trade if you don't recognize that the market is moving sideways at this point. Okay, so it looks like the NQ heard me and tailed off a little bit. And I was looking at this eagle trade, and it looks like that would have worked out very nicely for us. So I was kind of watching this signal here. It didn't get low enough to print, but it did come right back with another signal right here. And I do believe we are at our profit objective with that one. Yes, we did. So a nice little winner there on the NQ, and we would have had comparable signals, I believe, on the Hawk. Oh, great little runner here on the Hawk. First micro macro cross signal right here. Even if you took it early here, no problem, just minor heat. No problem hitting the profit objective there. You got another chance at another first micro macro cross right here. And down she goes. So a couple really good opportunities there in the NQ. Way to go, Tony. Tony caught that eagle move. Nicely done. Jim needs a little bit of help here for the... I'm sorry, Jim, I might be a little bit late for you here. Jim needs to know the cloud to cloud. So we've got the bottom end of the cloud sitting around 172.27, top end 172.62. And we're back here toward the lows, but I don't know if I'd be too much on counter trend trades today, Jim. I know we had a nice little retracement here. If you're going to do this, here I'll show you guys what Jim is following. Jim's noticed that when the bands get very extended, the market is likely to make a pullback. The bands here actually show you when the market gets extremely overbought or oversold. What's very important though, before you start taking counter trend trades, is you want to see one of these tests of the extreme. And ideally, a little itty-bitty one, strange as it would seem. The smaller ones tend to have the bigger follow-through for this type of strategy anyways. So Jim's monitoring the band from here to here. And when it gets overextended, it seems the market does have a tendency to pull back into that hard edge. So here's another one. And a little itty-bitty test of the extreme. Yes, technically it did go lower, maybe by a tick or two, but the principle remains the same. And here too, the band is a little bit overextended when this happens. Here's another one that did not follow through back all the way to the hard edge, but we didn't have the test of the extreme either, did we? The test of the extreme was a little bit more prolonged. Oh, stop it. A little bit more prolonged, and then did not have that follow through, even though the band was quite wide. Oops. Right, the band had quite an extension to it there, but did not get the follow through. In fact, we only got that sideways trading occurring out of that. So here we are with the band a little bit fat again, and we're into this morning's lows, or very near this morning's lows. This was actually technically still in the overnight. Jim's asking if this is the third lavender band. I don't know if it is. There's one, of course. Yeah, I guess it would be. it's quite extended. The overnight, obviously, very, very bearish. I can't see with all that bearishness the market absorbing all that selling just yet. It's not to say we can't see a little bit of a rally here. It's just that the safer place seems to be too short. Of course, that's just one man's opinion. That's the deal with the futures markets, or with trading in general, of course. Everybody's got an opinion. Sasha's asking, the Raptor cloud has nothing to do with the Ichimoku cloud. Wondering about an add-on. I don't see any more at the indicator warehouse site. No, I know it looks like the Ichimoku cloud, and we debated that when we put it on. We said everybody's going to think it's an Ichimoku cloud. It's not. It's the Raptor band. Unfortunately, when the programmer set the name, he actually called it the cloud, which just further leads to the confusion. No, it is unique to the Raptor. Okay, we're going to generate another signal here shortly, but Randy's asking about some of the settings here on the Raptor for the opacity and whatnot. Well, I'm not sure. Oh, yes, I can control the opacity. I didn't even know that. So on the first band, I happen to have an 8 with the default colors and default opacity. The second band, I never changed the opacity. I changed it to a band of 10 and cornflower blue because it's pretty, and royal blue. But any color will do, really. Well, it looks like Jim did have the right idea after all. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a pullback here. This is, again, looking very much like a bear flag. So the market coming down very quickly, consolidating slightly. Brian is asking, with the Trailblazer, can you enter an order and have it automatically place a stop without using the trail indicator? No, your stop needs to be enabled for it to place a stop automatically. So there's no signal here. I'm just demonstrating. If I hit the sell market, you can see I've got my sell, I've got my profit target and break-even triggers, but no stop. Now, once I enable a stop, I guess we have to get this on the right side of the market. I'm still on the wrong side, but once I enable a stop, then it will give me an active stop. Now, because my stop strategy is against, let's get rid of that. There we go. Just so I can demonstrate this. Because my stop strategy, highlighted by these blue dots, is against my position, Trade Manager gave me a default stop, and you can get those default settings in your strategies window. So if you go to your strategies, you can find out what your default settings are. Now, I'm not going to do it right now because it's going to mess up the trade. Everything's going to disappear. But I just wanted to show that to you. Now, if it trickles a little bit lower here, we're going to see, okay, the strategy flipped over, and now it activates the trade or is trailing the stop based on my stop strategy. See, if I enlarge the parameters, I'm still against the stop strategy, so it gives me the default stop. But without this trail indicator enabled, you will not get a stop. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. And I know it was a little ham-fisted the way I handled that, but now I can show you the strategies window. And here at the top, invalid trail stop ticks. This is the parameter where you can set your default number of ticks that you want the stop placed, just in case the stop strategy happens to be against your trade. So as I was doing here, if I short and I have the ATR strategy and I choose to sell, this trade manager automatically gives me a stop 25 ticks away. That's what that means. Okay, so Brian asked, but if you went long, so I've got the ATR strategy. If I go long now, okay, it will enable, and if I buy, my stop defaults to wherever the stop strategy is. If, let's say, I choose to sell, we'll let them slow down here a second, my stop should be down here, but if I sell this, come on, just trying to make a point. Okay, so if I sell this, because my stop should be down here, Trade Manager defaults to my 25 tick preset because I'm against the stop strategy. Okay, good. Brian says, I got it. Yeah, the programmer was a pretty smart cookie. He thought of pretty much everything that you could go wrong with it and allowed for it. Tony's trying to sell the Russell. Good luck to you, Tony. Market's still more or less range bound this morning. A fairly big range, as you can see from the first hour indicator here. But still sort of sideways-ish. A little tough to get a feel on what's going on. They've made a decent move lower, a little bit of a hiccup to the upside. Jim says the DAX is really putting the drag on the U.S. markets, but it's still very, very sideways with a bearish flavor overall. It's going to take a lot, I think, for the market to get above 4,600 today. It's just my gut talking, but they seem to be pinned pretty well between 46 and 45.75, more or less. Putting in a decent little rally here. Nice little first micro macro cross here on the hawk. Coming out of the top end of this trading range, we did see the test of the extreme, which was nice right down there. Got a green bar sell and the failure, and the red first macro cross just a few bars later. Gold had put in a decent rally out of the North American Open. Nice little rally there. Gold is a very interesting market to watch. You'll find that gold can provide you decent signals pretty much any time of the day or night, regardless of your time zone, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It truly is a world market. Was a little bit quiet during the Asian session. This is unusual because a lot of times the Asian session, gold tends to be a little bit more active. Not last night, though. Working on a possible trend change there on the Eagle. However, we hadn't really seen that test of the extreme yet, so it's a little touch and go on that one. Jim's making a comment here. He says, every rally is getting sold very hard. He said, the rallies aren't holding. I would agree with that. I fully expect the market to, at the very least, retest the lows here around the 45.75, 47.72 region. Good morning, Joe. Joe asks, what about adding a reverse button to the trade manager? The old trade manager actually did have a reverse button. It had it was reverse and something else. I forget now what it was. The consensus was because they needed to conserve some of the real estate here for people trading with smaller monitors and laptops and whatnot, where some of the trade manager was actually disappearing below their screen, that some of the buttons were eliminated, the reverse button being one of them. Of course, a manual reverse isn't all that hard, right? You can just do a close and then buy or sell accordingly. The one that bugs me that I'm trying to get the programmer to fix is, out of all the colors he could have chose, why did he put two blue buttons beside each other? And why did he put two yellow buttons beside each other? They're entirely different functions. I cannot tell you how many times I'm in a hurry where I set up a trade and I click accept when I mean to click submit. Can't tell you how often that happens and how annoying it is. But if it's something that you think is important, Joe, send Adam an email. He's always interested in knowing. Actually, I think what happened was that we had a close and a reverse or something like that beside each other. Yeah, and Joe says that's happened to me too. Well, complain, because They think I'm the only one complaining about this. For crying out loud, make it a different color. It's an important feature. Make it a big fluorescent orange or yellow or something that you can find it. Oh yes, reverse and flatten. That's right, Tony. The reverse and flatten buttons beside each other. Yes, folks, if there's anything that you would like to see, a feature or something that's incorporated in the charts or in the tools, by all means, send Adam an email. He's the one who can make these sorts of things happen. That's how the Raptor got started. The Raptor and the Trailblazer, the Geiger counter, these were all a response to inquiries from DTS owners saying, can you make it do this? Can you make it do that? I would really like to know this. I would really like to know that. Oh, believe me when I say you guys have a whole lot more clout than I do. Adam listens more to you guys than he does to me. Yeah, Jim says it'd be nice to see the bid and ask. And I know the earlier trade manager did have a bid ask little histogram going back and forth, which I thought was kind of cool myself. But again, when they were trying to save some real estate in order to get it to fit on everybody's monitor, they eliminated a few things. That was one of them. But yes, send Adam emails. He loves to get input from you guys. You can even say, Eric told me to. All right, they're trying here. They're trying real hard. We do have an opportunity to short the failure of this red bar buy here on the Hawk. It's looking like we're seeing a test of the extreme. Working on another possible red bar buy here. That may actually lend some support to the market. Okay, remember with your red bar buys and green bar sells, these are early signals that the trend might be coming unraveled. So you don't necessarily need to sell these. You can wait for the first micro macro cross, which should develop more or less the same neighborhood as it did here. We had the green bar sell. You could have bought the failure of that, but just a few bars later, we got the first micro macro cross. All right, we'll let that simmer. It's tough trading this morning, folks. I'm not seeing any really high quality signals. Getting a green bar sell here on the Eagle, and you'd probably wait for the ATR to flip over, which it will do on this bar. So just like the Hawk, you can look to enter below the low. Now it looks like we can clear that, because now we're coming back with a with trend signal of all things. Brian saying, can you please tell me how to get that ATR indicator on my Eagle again? Absolutely. What you want to do is you want to pull down to your assortment here, and you're going to find one that says IW ATR trail. There it is. If you double click on that and apply, it's going to, where is it? It's going to appear right there. Apply and OK, and then you'll have your ATR on here. You can simulate it also with your trade manager by changing your ATR to 2. It's actually what the trade manager is using to plot the ATR. Oh, such choppiness this morning. Crazy is what it is. So here on the Hawk, the choice is yours really, whether or not you want to leave this trade in play. A failure here should carry a little bit of momentum. Oh, we're starting to print a first micro-macro cross. Oop, that just got voided by the yellow bar. So you can see a lot of congestion, a lot of sideways. Yeah. Tony says maybe we should stop trading and start selling barbed wire. This is what Tony's referring to, is whenever the market is kind of waffling like this back and forth, especially if you're printing a lot of yellow bars here on your Hawk at more or less the same latitude. That's what some traders refer to as barbed wire, and the analogy should be fairly obvious. It's just a market that's not going anywhere. And you're right to stay away from it until it does settle and choose a direction, because when the market is balanced like that, any trade you take is going to be a higher risk trade. You're going to generate some signals through here, but you're just not going to get the follow through. It will break, and it may make a substantial break, but you don't need to worry too much about missing every trade. Once it settles on a trend, you will have another opportunity. Now, having said that, I will demonstrate the OCO feature to you, where you can bracket the range and you can buy above the range and sell below the range. You might want to be aware, however, that about 80% of all breakouts fail, which is why I usually, in this type of situation, I'll tell you to let the market break, retest, and then look to buy. Break, retest, then look to sell. That's going to be your higher probability setup than trying to take it off of the initial break. Now, sometimes you get lucky and you get a congestion phase. The market breaks and it has some follow through. If you see this little test of the extreme, that's the giveaway. But look at where they're congesting, exactly where they started the day. We're right back here again, 4,600. They just keep slamming them at 46. And you can see we've got comparable ranges in all the other tools also. In fact, here, interestingly enough, the Hawk has now printed a red bar buy, which we could sell. and a green bar sell, which we could buy. So we have a pretty well-defined range here in the hawk also. Richard's asking, Eric, I see you're still trading the December contract. Shouldn't you be trading the March? Absolutely, you could do that. Now what happened to my OCO order here? Okay, we're just going to throw in a sell order here to simulate that, but oh, I think I needed to have my stop enabled. Okay, so we'll give this a try now, see if the market doesn't drift any lower. I think expiration on the December contract, isn't it the 18th? Isn't it next Friday? So we still have a week on the December contract, although you're right, a lot of times the second week of the month, a lot of people will start rolling over. What we'll do here, I'll show you a nifty little thing you can do with your market analyzer. So if you open up Market Analyzer, you're going to get one of these. And what we want to do is we want to go to our columns. We don't need these things. We would like average daily volume and daily volume. I think that's all we want. And now you choose your instrument. So you can add from your list. Well, here, we'll do the Aussie dollar because I happen to have two of those. And you can compare. You can compare the volumes between March and December. Now, if you bear with me a moment, I will load up the NQ. And we can do the same thing for the NQ. So I've got NQ March and NQ December. There we go. So you can see there's still ample volume. When you're day trading the stock indices, you can almost take it to the last day. And I'm just going to double check my expiries. Where is it? NASDAQ, December. Yeah, it expires the 18th. So we still actually have a week on this. That's not to say you can't, start trading March. I'll roll into the March contract at the end of today. I won't change it now. But 77,000, that's still lots of volume. It's nothing to worry about. Even here on the December Australian dollar, if you were day trading it, you've got nearly 19,000 shares being traded. Now, granted, 57,000 is better, but there's nothing wrong with these kinds of numbers. Still looking for decent trade to trip here. If we see the NQ trade below this 45.84 area, we should be home free. But otherwise, we're still kind of in this bigger mess of a trading band. See the Raptors once again migrated to yellow bars. And they keep waffling. In fact, I'm going to hold my stop. Where it was. I don't want them rolling too quickly here, given that the market is so range bound. Gary's asking, Eric, can you explain why my Raptor cloud is more jaggedy looking than yours? Well, first, make sure you're trading an 8-tick Renko bar. You might be trading something like a 4 or a 5. Next, if you are trading an 8-tick mean Renko bar, double check your Raptor settings. Okay, Gary says it's at 8. You're trading the NASDAQ also, Gary? Okay. So if you go to your indicator window now, and you click on your Raptor cloud, okay, Gary says I'm on the March contract. All right, let's get you to March. NQ March, there we go. We'll just let that load up. It's loading. Okay. So, hold on a second here. I gotta get my bearings. There we go. Okay, so we're at 8 ticks. We're good there. So let's check now the indicators. Your Raptor cloud. No, Gary says, sorry to pull you away from trading. Nothing's going on, Gary. There's really no good opportunities here this morning. So we might as well answer questions. So the Raptor cloud, I've got one cloud set at 8, and the other cloud I happen to have set at 10. If, however, one of your clouds was set at something like, I don't know, let's say 4, it's going to make the Raptor look more jagged. And if that's still the issue, or still not the solution, send me a picture. And I'll show you how you can send me a picture of your chart. You go down here to Image, you right click, go to Image, and then you can either save it or you can email it to me directly. And you can email, don't send it to indicatorwarehouse.com, send it to Eric at supportandresistance.com. Oh, Gary says one is 12 and the other is at 10. That should not be jagged. Oops, sorry. So we'll make one at 12 and one at 10. Or at least not too jagged. Oh, I guess maybe it is a little bit more jagged. Look at that. I wouldn't have thought that. I wouldn't have thought that the 10 would be as jagged as that. Well, that's a little bit of a surprise, I have to admit. I might leave that one at 12, and where's my other one? Raptor Cloud. Might make that one 8. Like I said, the nice thing about the Raptor is that you can do some adjustments on it to your liking, which is a good segue here into Andre's question. Andre asks, why do you use 2 clouds? Well, the 2 clouds were first, the whole 2 cloud idea was first presented to us by Ricardo, one of the Raptor owners. And if you're interested, you can read a lot more about it at the Raptor Facebook forum. And if you don't have access to that, email Adam, and I'll give you guys his email address. It's adam@indicatorwarehouse.com. And he'll tell you how you can get access to the Raptor forum. There's some very good discussions there. But what Ricardo was doing essentially is he was looking for hard edge bounces. And he noticed that sometimes, here, let's wheel this back here a little bit. Sometimes what would happen is the market would, let me find you a good example. Okay, here we go. This is a good example. Sometimes the market would bounce off of the hard edge, and sometimes it would exceed the hard edge and then continue with the trend. So what Ricardo did was he developed a double band. He just put another band on his Raptor, and he noticed that, okay, now he had a way of gauging which ones would be good hard edge bounces to buy or sell. So Ricardo would be looking at something, to sell here because it's bouncing off of the hard edge, and he would sell here because it's bouncing off of the hard edge. He wouldn't necessarily sell this one because there's no hard edge to bounce off of. So I thought it was a pretty cool concept, not to mention that it makes the chart look kind of cool. And so I've also adopted the double band. See, here's another example. Now, would you still see these things without the double band? Of course you would, right? Because the market would still be coming into the band, into the hard edge. We're still anticipating a reaction, just like with the eagle, right? If I go to the eagle only has one band, and yet whenever the market encounters the hard edge, we anticipate a reaction. So does it matter to me that the market traded above the hard edge? No, not at all. See, here's another one. Actually, I think this might have been the same one that we were just looking at on the Raptor, where it touches the hard edge quite nicely here, and then it blows through the hard edge here. But it's still a valid signal because we're into the hard edge. I'm anticipating the market's going to give me some sort of reaction. By the way, you could do a double band on the eagle also if you wanted. It's only a tool. It's only a tool to help you gauge. Look at how flat the band is now. Like there's just no trading opportunity here. It's only a tool to help you gauge, okay, it's into the hard edge. maybe I'll try to sell it, or it fails at the hard edge, I'll look to buy it. That's all it is. It's just a tool to help you get a better feel for the opportunity. Is it a good opportunity or is it a weak opportunity? Way to go, Joe. Joseph says, I just passed my Series 3 to become a CPA. Hats off to you, my friend. Any words of advice? No, not really. You'll learn as you go. Good for you. That's fantastic. Yeah, there's lots of opportunities in this crazy game. All right, so they're testing the lower end now, and it looks like this could be a decent opportunity to short. Missed the first micro-macro cross, unfortunately. Andre's asking, would I wait now for a pullback on the Raptor? Yes, we've got a cloud crossover. Whenever the clouds flip like this, we anticipate support to come from the cloud. So once again, this is a good little exercise for you to do, and it's easy enough to do. All you need to do is roll back into the history of your chart and see, okay, last time the market was moving sideways, the clouds were flip-flopping a little bit, the market broke down, went into the cloud, it got some support from the cloud, or in this case, technically resistance from the cloud, and the prices continued lower. Let's take a look at another one where the clouds crossed over. Okay, the clouds crossed over here, same thing, a little bit of a pullback, not nearly as much. The signal originated a little bit faster, but you did have a couple tests of the extreme preceding it. Right? We had one there, and then you had another one right here. Now here's a cloud crossover to the upside. So the clouds are crossing. We're anticipating support from the cloud. It's coming in. We would look to buy either here or possibly even above here. But look at what happens. It failed. So the support was not there. That was your clue that maybe the market was going to start going the other way. We'll look at one more. Same thing. Clouds waffling a little bit. Crosses over, comes down, a little bit of support coming from the cloud here, generates a signal. If you didn't get that one, you got a little added support here. This one's a little bit late, a little bit more of a nail biter, but it too headed lower after giving you a little bit of heat. So here we are. Looks like we're gaining some support from the cloud. We should be generating a signal here shortly. And what you can do is you can place your order. And actually what I'm going to do is this. So I'm going to leave my order away and then I'll pull it in as the signal prints, if it prints. So not printing just yet, still waffling a little bit to that hard edge, where once again we're going to anticipate a reaction. And if they come out of this cloud now with a signal, that could be worth trying. That stops too tight. Come on. Yeah, Joe, you're getting some congrats from the people in the room here. Everybody applauding your efforts. Come on, they're trying. The trend is very weak and consolidating, so it's, like I said, very much a crapshoot here. Nope, they're going to run away from it. Just kind of watching them for a little bit here, hovering, waffling. All right, here they come again, out of that hard edge, looking for that bounce, and there's our signal. So I could actually roll the signal up a bit. So here we are at the support zone, and you can see the buyers starting to chew through some of those orders. We do need to see this wheel turn the other way and the sellers get a lot more aggressive. I'm going to disable my stop here for just a moment and leave it up here just so we can get past some of this short-term chop. Here we go. That's what we want to see. Pull that dial down and just hold it and hold it and hold it. Come on. You can do it. There they go. There they go. Come on. They're reluctant, but the sellers seem to be chewing through some of the orders here. We'll follow this trade for a little while still, and we might see the market retest the lows of the morning. Just about to hit our first profit target. Quick little scalp. There we go. We're chewing through some of those orders again. Uh-oh, there come the buyers. Don't want to see that. So you see how the buyers are forcing it now? Got to see those sellers come back. Just a reminder to everyone, if you haven't heard the announcement yet or read the announcement email, this is our last trading room of the year. I'm going to be taking off on vacation as soon as the room closes. Got my bags packed. I'm going to go down to Mexico for a few weeks, and we'll reopen the trading room again January the 11th. Of course, I'll still be available via email if you have any questions. Thanks everyone for the nice comments. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long haul to here. Usually we kind of take a little bit of an interim break, but because we were going to be away for an extra week here in December, I told Adam I would press on through. My wife's got a milestone birthday next week, so I said, what would you like for your birthday? And she said, I'd like to celebrate my birthday in Mexico. Okay then, let's go. Don't have to ask me twice. David's asking, will Ben be around? Yeah, I don't think Ben has any plans to go anywhere. Ben and Adam will still be available. And like I said, I'll still be available via email, but I will be on vacation, so it might take me a day or so to get back to you. Brian's asking, where in Mexico? I think he's going to come visit me. We're going down. It's actually a driving vacation. We used to drive down to the Baja all the time. Lately, we've been flying to Mexican vacation destinations. But this year, we're driving down to a little spot just near San Carlos, about just south of Arizona. So we're getting a little bit of a, by the time we catch the ferry off the island and such and get through the border, I think we're going to spend the first night just outside of Portland, and the next night will be probably somewhere in Central or Southern California. And we're meeting friends in Tucson the next day and crossing over into Mexico to our spot. Tony asks if I speak Spanish. I speak what I call restaurant Spanish. I know enough Spanish to keep from starving to death and having to sleep outdoors, but I can't really hold a conversation. I have taken some Spanish courses, but no, my Spanish is terrible. It gets better when I'm in Mexico because of the whole immersion thing. But we're still close enough to the border that most of the Mexicans at least habla a little English. So I can still make myself known. Yeah, like David says, see, tacos. Yeah, Tony says, El Shorto, El Logo. Yeah, we'll change our orders. Yeah, David says, El Biro. Yeah, El Cerveza, por favor. Cerveza, uno más, tacos, burritos, enchiladas, huevos rancheros. That's about all you need to know. Oh, and the all-important baño. Now I'll be taking my phrase book, and my friend who's going to be with us for a few days, he he relies heavily on Google Translate. Although when we were playing with it the other night, I think some of the translations might have got us into a bar fight. They weren't the best translations. Oh, way to go, Gary. Gary said he made his money for the day. It's nice when you have a trading quota. I think that's a good idea. And he says, looking forward to you getting back to continue my education. Well, I think by the time I get back, I'll be itching to go again. It's nice to take a break every once in a while, to step away from the charts for a little while. You really do get a better perspective of things. And then when you start looking at the charts again, things start to come together a little easier. You start to see things a little bit more clearly. So we're still fighting this order here. I suspect they're going to try to test the lows. No, they wouldn't let me write out the break even. But we did manage to scalp a couple of ticks out of that anyhow. Brian's asking, what day do we start up again? It's going to be January the 11th, Monday, January 11th, just the week after New Year. That first week of the New Year, the markets tend to be a little bit odd. And then by mid-January or the second week, things start to settle in a little bit. And you'll be getting email notifications of all this. Oh, and by the way, I do believe that today is the last day that Adam has extended the special promotion that he has going on. If there are any indicators or such that you're interested in picking up, you can get a 30% discount today. Or today, I believe, is the last day. And the discount code I'll put in the window here for you. It has to be in all caps. And you can always email Adam about that stuff as well. All right, you guys, I think this will be a good spot to close up the room. Wishing you guys all a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. If you're going to be trading next week, should be fine. The week after, as we get closer to Christmas, is going to become very thin and very unpredictable. So do yourself a favor, maybe move into sim mode, or just take a little bit of time off. I really don't think you're going to miss out on too much. All right, you guys, we'll talk to you next year. All right, bye for now.